Hey guys, my name is John Hamilton and today I'm going to be teaching you how to switch a light off and on in your game. So this means your player can walk up to a certain area, click E, turns the light on, click E again, it turns it off. So this could be useful for a lot of different stuff. So one thing to note before we get started is that all we're going to be doing is adjusting the brightness and changing it to 0 when it's off. So this will not be making your frame rate fast or slow if the light's off or on. So with that said, let's get into it and let's learn how to do it.
Alright, so as you can see right here, I have a basic scene set up with a plane and a lamp, and also a Blender game is set here, and it's in GLSL and textured. Alright, so we're going to want to set up some animation for our logic to work for this lamp. So selecting this lamp, and what we're going to do here is come down here, and where it says right here, this little 1, this is our frame count. So as you can see, we move along, that's where our what time we are along the frame. So we're going to set this to 0. Right? So this is on frame 0. And we want to come and expand this, and we can just close this panel. We want to give this a energy value. We want to change this energy value. So at frame 0, we want this to be equal to 0. Right? And hovering over this, we're going to click I and give it a keyframe, and then we're going to go one frame ahead by using the arrow keys, and we're going to give this an energy value of 1, and we're going to hit I. So if we go back and forth, you can see it turns off and on. So there we go. So frame 1, frame 0. So we're going to come over here to the game logic panel, so we can set up our logic, and we're going to change this to textured, and we're going to grab this. Alright. So, what we're going to do now is add a property or a variable, whatever you like to call it, and this is going to be a boolean. And we're going to call this on/off. And we're going to expand this up. You can just leave it however you like. And we're going to add a always sensor, and we're going to also add a action actuator. So if we connect these up, as you can see, just drag it across, we're going to want to select our action. As you can see right here, it's point action. Now if your object is named a different name, it will be the object name and then action, and if you've got more than one action, it'll be like point 1 or whatever you named it. Alright, so selecting that, we also want to come up here and change the type from play to property. And this is going to allow us to change what frame of the animations is at using a property. So we're going to select on/off. So we are using a boolean for this, and how the boolean works in this is if you look at a boolean as a number, a boolean is 0 is false and 1 is true. So as you see, when we did the thing, that's why we set it to 0 for the first frame and 1 for the second frame. So what you see is that if we minimize this again and open up the properties panel, if we press play, it's off and nothing's working. But if we press this, it is on. Alright, so if we close this, what we want to do is we want to basically change this in game. So for quick testing, we're going to add a keyboard, and it's going to use space, and we're going to add a property. And there's many different types of properties you can use, but I feel like this way works the best for a lamp. So you want to change this to a toggle. So what a toggle does is it's mainly made for booleans. So when you toggle, it's going to set it from true to false. So like it goes back and forth. So you could go true, and then it'll go false, true, false, true, false. So yeah, what you see here is if we select on/off, if we press it and then press space, nothing is happening. And the reason for that is you just need to add true level triggering for this, because this animation type needs to be updated every single frame. Other animation types are different, but this one does. So what you see now is you can turn it on and off, and you can change your starting state by just clicking that, And there you can see it goes on and off. Now, let's say you wanted to have a switch over here that when your player was standing there, they could press E or whatever action key you wanted it to be, and they could turn the light on and off. So the way you do that is you would add a cube or whatever you wanted to add, and you'd move this across here. Lift this up, and you do a couple of things. So, expanding all this stuff, not really important, I just like to. You want to change the physics type to sensor. Just doesn't really do too much, but you want to make this box bounce. Now, what we want to do is we want to detect if the player is clicking E. So, if we are clicking E and we are collisioned with player, so this is going to detect if we are collisioned with a object that has property that is named player. So we'll set that up in a second. What we're going to do is we're going to send a message. So we're going to use an and what this is going to do is if E and we are collisioned with a player, then we're going to make this actuator go. So we're going to be sending a message, and the subject's one of the most important things. So we're going to go to call this player here, or whatever, and we're going to send this to the point lamp or whatever object you want to turn off and on. Alright, so what you see is if you close this, and actually we need to copy this message. I don't know if we already did that, but let's do it anyway. And we want to change this keyboard, we want to get rid of that, and we want to add a message. And if we get message play here, what you'll see is that if we cut this bottom bit off for a second, when we click E, it turns it off and on. So, what you quickly do is let's quickly make a player kind of object thing. So, make this a dynamic bounce cube property, and all you just need to give a property and you call this player because that's what we're detecting for, player. And if we detect that, what you see is if I click E really fast, it only turns off and on when it's inside. So I'm clicking E really fast right now, but as you can see, it only turns off and on when it's inside. So that's how you set that up, and it's pretty neat. I'm sure it'll be very useful for any games you're making, so there you go.
Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the tutorial, comment them down below, and you can also subscribe to get updated every single week when I come out with a new tutorial. So keep blendering, see you next week.